It seems that we're at the end of an era for Nintendo, as Kensuke Tanabe will be stepping down from his producer role at Nintendo EPD6. He confirmed that Metroid Prime 4 was his last game at Nintendo, and that Risa Tabata will be taking over. I kinda suspected that this would be the case, as he wasn't involved with the Thousand Year Door remake, which was kind of unusual as he was involved with all other Paper Mario projects over the past 20-ish years. And aside from Prime 4, he's mostly been involved with smaller scale projects like WarioWare, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, and Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. But I wanted to discuss what this means for the Paper Mario series, and how Risa Tabata seems to be a good successor. While I have been very critical of Tanabe's decisions for certain games, I can't deny that he has been a very talented and influential figure in the gaming industry, and I respect him for that. He directed Super Mario Bros. 2, my favorite game in the NES 2D Mario trilogy. He was a writer for both Link to the Past and Link's Awakening, and was also heavily involved with the Metroid Prime games, Mother 3, and Mario Strikers. But I feel like in his later years at Nintendo, his visions for certain series seem to clash with the interests of the developers and the fans. Like the Retro Studios Donkey Kong Country games weren't allowed to use King K. Rool in any capacity, and he only gave the Chibi Robo franchise one more chance with Ziplash, and shifted the focus of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games entirely to the Lemmings-like puzzle elements, which weren't inherently bad, but it should have been a spin-off series. And with the Paper Mario series specifically, he was partially responsible for the restrictions that held back the series creatively, before the Thousand Year Door remake at least. For those unaware, or have forgotten, because it has been quite a while, the Paper Mario devs were not allowed to create any modified characters or original characters that touched on the Mario universe, like the characters in the older Paper Mario games did. He definitely wasn't fully responsible for these restrictions, as Nintendo seemed to have some kind of internal character design supervisor team, sometimes dubbed the IP team, that was notoriously strict towards the Paper Mario series. But the fact that he enabled the IP team to have such a strict hold over the series, and the fact that he mentioned in multiple interviews that Paper Mario could no longer create original or modified characters, makes me feel like he had some involvement in these decisions. He also basically admitted to not really caring about the fans when it comes to the fact that the modern games were more so action-adventure games than RPGs. On one hand, it's absolutely fair for the developers to have their own creative vision separate from the fans, but when the formula is so detached from what the series once was, I think it's fair for fans to want to have a return to form, especially since around the time of Origami King's release, Nintendo wasn't really filling the niche of a Mario RPG, and didn't really have any alternatives, since Alpha Dream recently went bankrupt around that time, and the Mario plus Rabbids series was not really a traditional RPG. So since Kensuke Tanabe is stepping down, I feel like the Paper Mario developers will have a lot more creative control over the franchise. The new producer, Risa Tabata, seems to be a lot more lenient and seems to let Intelligent Systems have most of the creative control. With her as the producer of the Thousand Year Door remake, the game retained all of its original character designs and original characters, and Intelligent Systems even went out of their way to create new expressions and animations for all of these original characters. And despite the fact that this game was a remake, Nintendo considered this to be the next big Paper Mario release at the time. And currently, the game is practically the face of the series. So for all that we know, the leniency and creative freedom of the classic Paper Mario games could be fully allowed again. Tabata may have even been partially responsible for the Thousand Year Door remake, as she mentioned the possibility of Thousand Year Door being remastered if there was enough fan interest during the interviews for Color Splash. So it seems like Tabata may be more open to fan feedback than Tanabe was, when it comes to certain aspects of the Paper Mario series. And in general, it seems like the modern Paper Mario devs at Intelligent Systems seem to be very passionate about the series. Despite its flaws, Origami King had a lot of charm, memorable moments, and a very well-crafted world. It seems like the devs were making the most out of their limitations. And the Thousand Year Door remake feels like a love letter to the classic Paper Mario games, with it tying its continuity to 64 and Super Paper Mario even more, creating new super bosses for underrated fan favorites like Prince Mush and Waka, reimagining the game's soundtrack, including concept art in the game, and ironing out every flaw that fans felt that the original game had. It really seems like the modern Paper Mario devs have a massive appreciation for the older Paper Mario devs and want to continue their legacy. So it seems like now that they don't have any harsh restrictions holding them back, the series can finally fully flourish again. So anyways, I think the Paper Mario series has a bright future with Risa Tabata now as the main producer, and the series having a passionate team of developers that now don't have any restrictions holding them back. I have nothing against Tanabe as a person, I just think his decisions towards the Paper Mario series were kind of misguided, and I wish him the best in his retirement. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. How do you think the Paper Mario series will be handled without Tanabe's involvement? Let me know down in the comments. And thank you guys for watching this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!